Hello guys, this is Lisa, an occupational therapist specialized in Padawan therapy. Like every Wednesday I go live. And basically on these lives I take the opportunity to talk about occupational therapy. I took the opportunity to talk about different topics, and today's topic, as every Wednesday that I connect around 6:30, 7:30 p.m. Yes, today's topic it's about chewy tubes and neural motor skills. Okay, so this is not the first time that obviously I'm talking about this topic, but I often get more and more questions about which chewy tubes we should be using, which tools we can be using for improve our feeding, improve our communication, and in case if we have a child with speech difficulties, how to improve those skills as well. Now, when we are talking about chewy tubes, there is like a little bit of misconception which chewy tube is the best for our kid, no? Or which chewy tube we should be using and when we should be using. As occupational therapists, we work with a lot of chewy tubes, and in different moments we will be suggesting to the parents or the educators or anyone who basically needs the chewy tube how to use it and when to use it. So today I brought with me a couple of different samples of chewy tubes and also my super tool, the Z-Vibe, that in my YouTube channel I suggest in case if you're interested and you would like to look and to know a little bit more about the Z-Vibe and how to use it, you could go on my YouTube channel and check the videos. I did a couple of them. Basically there are different type of chewy tubes. There is the Z-Vibe, but besides having the chewy tubes and the tools, we have to know exactly when we can use it and how we can use it. Like I said, more often I'm having a lot of parents and educators also asking about how can I improve my child's difficulties with textures and food, and we have a lot of kids who are picky eaters. We have a lot of kids who are very sensitive to food, and basically it's not like they don't want to try new things or they don't want to try maybe new textures or new food, but they are extremely cautious about the way how they are going to try, the way how the food looks, and then sometimes I will say, in my professional experience, many times they don't know what to do with the food inside of the mouth. So let me try to break this down. The food, it's on the plate, and sometimes the parents think that they have to be, this, like having an amazing plate full of colors and vegetables and I don't know, inventing new shapes of the food, and that's very cute. But that's quite time demanding, I will say, and nowadays in our busy lives, not everybody has the time to create every day new shapes of food with new textures, etc. So it's sometimes, yes, children will be a little bit more picky about trying new food, depends on how the food looks on the plate. But honestly speaking, and I'm totally being honest with you, the amount of kids who will not want to accept the food because of the way how it looks like, it's very, very small percentage. Most of the times, at least in my experience and with the kids that I have been working, it has to be with the ability of chewing and the ability actually of tolerating the food inside of the mouth. So it doesn't matter if it's a yellow food, it's a red food, it's a green food, it's a dinosaur on a shape of a dinosaur. It basically depends on what I need to do with that food inside of the mouth. And children who have difficulties with sensory processing, or children with autism, or children with other difficulties, struggles a lot with this area. So in my previous videos, like I said before, I try to go live every Wednesday around this time, sometimes a little bit earlier, sometimes a little bit late, but I just finish my sessions of the day. So every Wednesday I try to cover different topics. And today's topic it's about Chewy tubes. But if you would like to know more and you would like, check the other videos that I've been doing, I invite you to follow in the YouTube channel. They are all there after every live. They are saving there, so it's just in case if you're curious, about which other topics we talk. You can check them out. So, like I said before, we are talking about Chewy tubes today, and I'm going to show you some of them that I'm using, and when to use them and how to apply them. Okay. Now it's important. The Chewy tube will not fix the sensory issues that your child might have. So if you're a parent, an educator, or anyone who just basically knows someone who's a picky eater or who's having difficulties with feeding, the Chewy tubes will not solve your life, okay? This is not like, okay, I get a Chewy tube, I buy a Chewy tube, or I buy 10 Chewy tubes and suddenly that's it. The feeding issues are not there. That will be very good, that will be actually extremely practical for therapists and for parents, especially for parents. But there are techniques and there is a way how we can introduce those Chewy tubes and see also if your child benefits of using the Chewy tubes. Because sometimes, and it's not the first time it happens, lately I had a consultation with a mom and she was telling me that my child, he eats, he knows how to chew because he crunch and he will be chewing these crunchy rice crackers or something like that. And that definitely I agree with her when she sent me the video of the way how the child was eating. For sure, your child knows how to chew. He prefers that particular rice cracker. But my issue it is that the chewing skills and the Chewy tubes are not introduced because your child doesn't know how to chew. They are introduced because your child lacks on chewing. And this is like the concept that is a little bit difficult to maybe understand, and I will try to do my best today to explain it to you. So if you have more questions, obviously don't hesitate to contact me, write me, or I'm all over social media, so especially if you are from the YouTube channel, I always encourage, and I'm super thankful for your likes, for your following, subscribes, and support to Panacea Therapy Center. So the idea that I was telling you and I wanted to share with you is that when I talk about Chewy tubes and I talk about the Z-Vibe or chewing skills, it's not because I'm not sure or I am hesitating that your child knows or not how to chew. Actually, it's because in the 24 hours in a day, your kid is not spending enough time chewing crunchy food, or the child is not chewing or exploring the chewing skills. You have to understand as well that many children who are picky eaters or who are having feeding difficulties will have also difficulties in speech, which is not so, it shouldn't be surprising. It's totally, there is a logic behind. So we are having communication difficulties or speech difficulties. We're having feeding difficulties. We're having difficulties grinding the teeth or using too much, so our teeth to the point that we are accumulating stress and frustration, etc. So there are an amount of skills and an amount of difficulties set up in all this area, which is very small, okay? And we come with our plate full of colors, full of shapes, full of stuff, and the thing is the child still will not tolerate the food, because it is not a matter of him just putting the food in and chew it. It's because we have a lack of developing different skills through the day, that when you come with the food, unfortunately the brain doesn't select that is the most important thing that I need to do right now. And obviously, yes, you also have kids who are very selective and they are very picky. So if the color is not nice, if the smell is not nice, or or the food is too strong, or they are not in the mood because they've been having some sensory issues and they've been steaming or hand flapping or tiptoeing and jumping on the trampoline 10 minutes ago. So yeah, maybe the food is not the best what they want in that moment. So, to all my parents who are watching and to all the, educators who are interested in the topic, obviously, I always suggest don't give up. It is a long process. It's not something that can be done like that. We are always having some struggles till we get into chewing and into, working with this. Slowly, step by step, step by step. So let me start with introducing, for those who doesn't know, what is the Z vibe, okay? Because I've been talking about it a little bit for long. You can always ask me questions, interrupt me, stop me. I really like to chat with you, so this is not my first time talking about the topic. And also recording. So the Z vibe, it's like this. I did a full video based on the Z vibe. Let me see just to make sure that you see it over here. So this is the Z vibe. Can be in different shapes, I think, or different colors, not shapes, sorry, colors. It has batteries inside, and when you turn it, it will vibrate. It's a very gentle vibration, so it is not really not that not something that will bother the child straight away, okay? I, honestly speaking, use it not so much. I prefer other massagers or vibrators, facial vibrators, to get a little bit more stimulation in the cheeks. But that is my personal, professional, opinion or way of working about all the sensory exposure with the Z vibe, or a tool that looks like a Z vibe. The Z vibe, it's extremely cool and it's very good if you have sensory difficulties in the face, if you don't tolerate, for example, brushing your teeth, if you have difficulties of accepting food, which is normal, no? If we're having a lot of drooling, so saliva coming, it's a very good tool for just bring a little bit more of awareness in the mouth, no? So yes, it is quite powerful, I will say, and quite important tool to use. But again, it is not the main reason that if you use the Z vibe, because this is something that I want to point out, not because you will be using the Z vibe, it's mean that you will cover all the needs that your child have or has with food, okay, or with the sensitivity. It just is going to be a little bit more helpful, okay? Hi, just reading a comment over here. Basically, there is a question, say, hi Lisa, is there any evidence that oral exercises help with speech and feeding, please? Yes, so to be honest, the last time that I checked, at least for researchers, there is no such a thing saying that if you work on oral motor skills, your speech is going to get better. Like I said before, or that saying, like a particular oral motor activity, like chewing or maybe blowing skills or vibration, etc., will improve the feeding or will improve the speech. No, at least that I know. Okay, but I always say that it is not oral motor skills. It's a misconception if we take them as a cure for feeding or as a cure for speech. Usually it is just it's a tool that we are using to reinforce those skills. The same way that we are going to be using the Wilberger brush as a sensory tool to work on proprioception and deep pressure and working on different sensory issues that the child has, or we are going to be using, I don't know, the spiky cushion for regulation of emotions or for regulating our sensory needs or our balancing. The same way I use the Z-Vibe and I use the oral motor skills. So I don't have anything that I can tell you, listen, this is the proof with this particular oral motor skill, our feeding issues will be gone or our speech will be increased. The reason also why, and I think I would like just to stop by a few minutes to reflect on it, because it's a very good question, so thank you. It's because speech delay or speech difficulties, feeding difficulties, they have a lot of things in common, but sometimes for certain children, not because of autism or because of ADHD or because of other, I don't know, dyspraxia, or some other difficulties, they are not linked, but they don't appear on the same moment, and the reasoning behind is different. For example, I have a lot of children who don't have any issue with feeding, but they are still nonverbal. And I always say the same. The opposite, it happens as well. We have a lot of children who are, verbally communicating excellent. They have some sensory issues, but feeding, it's a huge issue. It's a huge problem. So yes, I think it is an area that it's very much related together. They are always overlapping, but I do think that depends on the difficulty of the child and depends on the sensory needs of the child. One thing is going to just help the other. So for example, if I work on chewing skills, if I work in oral motor skills, if I work in sensory issues, most probable that I'm going to get some sound in the speech, I will get some feeding settling over there, I will have some sensory issues covered as well. Okay, or at least in my experience it is like that. So I am always talking obviously from my experience and from the results that I get when I work with kids, right? So yes, I ask because I have observed speech therapists and occupational therapists using these kind of exercises like blowing exercising, blowing candles and bubbles during their practice. Yes. Oh my goodness, I'm so hot. Sorry guys, I have, how to say, I feel hot, yes, it's true. I didn't check myself how I look in the camera, so that's why. Yes, I understand you because I will say that I'm one of the occupational therapists that I will definitely reinforce the use of a speech therapist and occupational therapist together. That's fantastic. That's like, wow, that's very good. And the reason why a speech therapist will be working with blowing skills and chewing skills and will be, like blowing bubbles, like you said, or the cotton ball, or other things, or whistles or candles. It's because blowing skills are it's considered a pre-linguistic activity, right? So before our speech appears, we are having this breathing control, whistling activities, etc. going on. Breathing, it's the first one, because without the breathing we will not get anywhere. So it is normal that an occupational therapist and a speech therapist will be joining together forces to work on these pre-linguistic skills, working on the muscle tone, working on the sensory issues, and at the same time working on activities that are extremely important in order for us to speak. When I'm talking, I'm constantly breathing, right? I'm constantly blowing my cheeks or tolerating my breath, or maybe holding for a little bit in order to pronounce and produce the sound that I need to, in order to communicate. what is happening with children who are who has difficulties with sensory issues and feeding issues, no, is that these skills are not coordinated most of the time. So you will have a child who is capable to blow the candles but not tolerate the food, and you will have a child who is not able to chew or able to chew but not able to blow. And it happens, unfortunately. Yes, it happens, because we tend to have the maybe the notion of knowing, okay, my child knows how to blow the nose, so he knows how to blow. Or my child knows how to, I don't know, do certain sounds like brrr, or send a kiss, but still the speech is not there. Like I said, there are a lot of pre-linguistic activities that it's extremely important, both for speech therapists and occupational therapists, to work on them if your target is to increase the communication of your child, your client, or to increase the feeding, the feeding exposure. So yes, definitely. There is, like I said, in my practice, these two things goes together, and I'm happy that to hear that you are actually, that you see someone that is working like that. So that's fantastic. So I'm going to come back to the Z vibe. But of course, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask me. So the Z vibe looks like this, and I have different tips. Basically, I use, you have different. Usually, if you get the full box with full tools, you will have a lot of stuff. So this one, for example, it looks like that. This one has like a little brush. Then you have the blue one with different dots. Okay, so basically you will have different. You have also one, it looks like a spoon, okay, with some sensory dots over here. You will have also a chewable tip. So if I get this one and I'm going just to attach to my Z vibe, okay, basically this is quite easy. I'm just going to turn it on and it will start vibrating. And then I can be using it for chewing. So you get the chewy tube plus the vibration, which is great. In case if you don't have the Z vibe, you can always work on something with a, like I said before, with a vibrator that is for the face, or massagers, depends on what you can find around, in case if you cannot get a Z vibe. Okay, so this is one thing that I definitely use and definitely suggest that if you are looking for improve the speech of the child or improve the feeding of the kid, and your kid is extremely sensitive in the area of the mouth, definitely you could go for a Z vibe or something that can stimulate and provide vibration sensation in the cheeks, under and inside of the mouth. Yes, and then we would jump into the chewing, or we will jump into providing different chewy tubes to the parents. As educator, as a therapist, I highly suggest you to check a little bit what are the chewy tubes available, or maybe send the parents to a special shop, specialized shop that sell these things. Otherwise, if you don't have the knowledge, maybe send it to a speech therapist or an occupational therapist who works with them. Okay, don't try to just say, listen, your child is having some feeding issues, some speech delay, you have to get him a chewy tube. Please don't take me wrong. I don't want that this topic of today gets wrong, okay? So definitely a chewy tube, it's a good thing, but we are going to be very, very, very specific about when we are using it and how we are using it. Hello. Yes, greetings to you as well. Thank you for joining and thank you for connecting from Turkey and following. Yes, thank you. Okay, so yes, let me see. One more question, please. Any advice for transitioning from the baby bottle to another water bottle? That's a good question. So, if you allow me, I'm going to dedicate few minutes. No, I'm not going to say two because then I talk a lot. I'm going to dedicate few minutes to cover the topic of the Chewy tubes. I'm just going to show a few, and then I'm going to answer your question, okay? Because this is it's not a tricky question, but every baby and every child gets used to the way how the bottle looks like, to the nipple, etc., etc. So I'm just going to we'll need a little bit more of time to answer your question, but I will definitely answer it. So I'm going to go back to the Chewy tubes. When we have a parent or an educator or anyone who is coming and asking about Chewy tubes and which Chewy tube we should be using, I always suggest you to educate yourself first before to give any advice, because sometimes I have parents coming, Lisa, I bought Chewy tubes, and we really bought a lot of Chewy tubes, and we bought different shapes and different colors and different textures, and it's very good, but we don't need half of them, which first we spend a lot of money because they are not a cheap material, and second of all, we are not going to use them. Your kid doesn't benefit from them. He will just hate it, and basically it will be staying there for nothing. So it's better that we first ask the therapist, or if you feel that you are the therapist and you don't know, refer to a therapist that knows. Okay, my honest advice. We have different type of Chewy tubes, and the reason because every child will have a particular need. You will have a Chewy tube preferring because you would like to improve the chewing. So your child is chewing, but chewing on toys. Your child is chewing on blocks. Your child is chewing on basically anything but not the food. So your kid has the chewing skills, but now we have to reinforce the teeth to chew on something that is appropriate. And this is the reason why we have Chewy tubes. They are made of a material specifically for that, okay? So like you are seeing here, I'm not saying that your child doesn't know how to chew. Your child knows how to chew because he's chewing on every single thing, but now we have to switch that and ask him to chew on Chewy tubes so we can transition to food, okay? So let me put an example. I'm going to get this Chewy tube that I have here, like that. I'm going to get another one just for you to know, and then this one is great for babies actually, so if you're asking for babies, Anna, you could get one of these. This is perfect, it's very small, very useful, so you could get it if you really need it. I'm just going to also show you another one. So like this, we have a couple of them. I have more here, okay? So if you have questions and you would like me to, stop in some, just let me know. They are all different. First, the shape. As you can see, this one it's basically, there is no dots, there is anything, it's just a smooth Chewy tube, okay? From the same brand that the Z-Vibe. Then you have the one that it's made for babies. In fact, here it's written baby grabber. Okay, so this is perfect. So the baby can grab and you can chew. So this is a specific one. As you can see, the texture, it's not that soft, but it's a medium one. It's perfect for babies, so they can really, especially when the teeth are coming, it's a perfect thing for them to. To satisfy that need of chewing. And then you have, for example, this one, it's in the shape of Y, and this one, it's basically just straight one, but look like a stick, but anyway, over here you have one type of texture, over here you have a different one. This is just for, make it a little bit more cool for the kids, etc. As you can see, we have also different type. Looks like this one is very common. You could see it, the banana. We can use it also to start working on brushing the teeth, especially if we're talking about babies, because it's very good because it has this type of brush. This one, it's perfect. It has the stopper, so you are not afraid that the child will really put everything or all the Chewy tube inside of the mouth. He can stop because of this, and also it has the brush. So if you have a couple of teeth, it's perfect for him or for her to work on it as well. Okay, so Anna, I am asking for 8 years old and he doesn't like any kind of chew. Okay, so okay, that's good. That I will come back to you. This one, for example, it's very flat, so this is ideal for kids. But as you can see, it's made of strong material. It's ideal for kids who would like to chew, but not really. They are capable to chew. Strongly, okay, but you just would like maybe to change the shape or something like that. This is purely for aesthetic. This one, it's extremely, just check the thickness of this chewy tube. It's huge, okay, and I really need to make an effort, to break it first of all. So imagine the amount of chewing skills or the amount of grinding you need to have to satisfy your need with this type of chewy tubes. This is amazing for those who grinds the teeth constantly. So you are like, okay, let's stop, let's count till 10, you do a little massage, let's take the chewy tube. They eat the chewy tube, literally, okay? This is perfect. This is a very strong material that will satisfy the grinding of the teeth. I don't know, I have, for example, here the same one, very similar but in blue, a little bit stronger than the red. And this is what I want to stop by and continue. As you can see, the red one, I can really bend it fast, like squeeze it. It's very soft. Compared to the blue one, it's medium, okay? I need to put a little bit more of effort, okay? So imagine the amount of work that you need to do with your teeth. Now, after showing you all these chewy tubes, I also have different type of chewy tubes according to the number. Okay, so for example, if you are starting with a number 1 or 2, then we can proceed to the number 6, 7, etc. Okay, so it depends, like I'm saying, but these ones are very simple. Okay, usually they can be bought in packs and you just go from one number to another according how the child is improving. What is making the difference between which chewy tube I should use first or after or before? No, or after, sorry. If your child has a big chewing need, mean that we are chewing every single thing minus the food, so everything else that you see, we will want to go for something strong and harder, okay? This is for sure, because that means that he has the need of chewing. He has the chewing skills, he chew on things, he chew the chewy tubes, and or maybe he chews on the dummy in case if he's using, or maybe the child is literally eating the straw of the bottle. So these are perfect because it will satisfy the need that actually your child needs. But for this type of chewy tubes, we have to make sure that the kid is over, let's say 5, 6, 7 years old. We have to make sure that all the teeth are out, and possibly you are already having some permanent teeth, because this is a very, very strong chewy tube, okay? So I would definitely suggest you to see with the occupational therapist if this will be the chewy tube that she or he will suggest you. My easy ones, or the one that are the best, are to start with the one that are more flexible, are a little bit softer, and they are more comfortable. The reason why sometimes the kid will refuse the chewy tube, and this is, I hope I will answer your question, is that we present a chewy tube that it is not soft enough. So you come with a chewy tube that is stronger, let's say is the one that I showed you, the blue, and the child basically cannot do anything, because you put the chewy tube and he stays with the mouth open. He looks at you like, what is this, and you are like, come on, chew, and the kid doesn't even know what is the feeling of the chewy tube, what I have to do with it, etc., etc. So most of the time, in my experience, when I tell to the parents, bring the chewy tubes that you have at home, because I want to know why the child is not chewing, the child will not chew the chewy tube that the mama or papa they have at home, but he or she will chew the chewy tube that I will present. And I don't think it's because I do any kind of magic, even though I am flattered, because sometimes parents say that, but it's just because I can see the type of chewy tube that the child needs. I see the approach and maybe the way how I handle the Chewy tube in front of him. I don't know. So most of the time, please don't buy Chewy tubes just to buy them. Try to get for the softer one. So very soft. Very soft. It means that if with my fingers I can press and it bends, you know, it does the effect. This is a soft Chewy tube. If I can do this, this is very soft. The red one, it's extremely soft. Okay, so I will definitely suggest you to go with something like that. This is the beginning of the beginning. Okay, we go with something soft. We don't want to traumatize the kid with something strong, and we want him to actually like it. Now the Chewy tubes that I use, I don't have an example here, are made of rubber. They are very, very, very simple. There is no brand, there is nothing going on. But this is the Chewy tube that I start usually. Okay, so if you have, you have any interest to know how it is or whatever, you would like to have more information, just text me. And then I will proceed. If the parents already got a Chewy tube, something like this, or let me see my Y, as you can see, it's also a very soft version of Chewy tube. This is with what I'm going to start. I'm going to place the Chewy tube on the molar. Okay, it's always on the molars. Don't come in front of the mouth, because over here we are already, this is too how to tell you, too strong input from outside. You know, the child, you have to understand that the child have difficulties maybe in communication. The child has difficulties in feeding. We might be having difficulties in brushing teeth or any other, sensory situation going on, and then boom, you come here with the Chewy tube, let's chew, this thing. So you have to be very careful. We go close on the molars, always from the side or the other side, and what you want is basically the child to start chewing. That's it. That's your interest. If you see that the child is not chewing, no problem. You stimulate the chewing for him. So you place the Chewy tube on the molars, on the teeth. Okay, you can hold under the chin, and you just do little pressures. Okay, you want him to get used to the Chewy tube. You want him to get used to the sensation, even if it's still 10 counts. This is your beginning for today. Today it's 10 minutes, 10 counts. The next session maybe we can do 15 counts. The next session we can do 20. And then by the time that you realize the child is chewing the Chewy tube, okay, and actually loving it, and then maybe we can actually increase the texture, of the Chewy tube, or the shape, or the color, or whatever, because sometimes it also goes by interest of colors and shapes and stuff. So my advice to you is always the same. Try to go for the softest Chewy tube. Try to go for few counts, few inputs. We are not rushing. We are not in a hurry. We want the kid to get used to. We want the kid to be comfortable with, and then we proceed. Okay, so for example, in this case, you told me that the kid is 8 years old and he doesn't like any Chewy tube. I would suggest you, if you never tried to go with the softest Chewy tube, I would definitely go for this technique. Use a soft Chewy tube. Try to not to go with, let's go, today main goal of the session is that you need to chew. We are going to go with a little bit of chewing, a little bit on the molars, even sometimes not in the molars. Even if sometimes I will start just placing the Chewy tube close on the cheek, literally, nothing even so aggressive inside of the mouth, just in the cheeks, and I will be like maybe doing some tapping, going around, playing with the kids, singing a song, whatever. And in the moment that I see, boom, I go on the lips, or I go inside of the cheek, or I go a little bit on the teeth, just going around. Okay, that's the idea. It's not for you to say, okay, I need the kid to start eating, I need the kid to start talking as soon as possible, I need the kid to tolerate it like this. It's not happening, because sometimes we have children who are extremely sensitive, and that's true, especially knowing that he is 8 years old. Extremely difficult. So I will suggest to start playing with the Chewy tube around till 10 counts. Stop. The next session you can go inside, try to see. If not, you go with your finger. So you go, obviously I use gloves, but that's up to up to you, obviously. And I go inside of the mouth and I will just do pretending that he is chewing, okay? But it is me pressing. Because what you want is the kid gets that notion of there is a chewy tube in my mouth, there is a pressure going on, and there is a sensitivity going on as well, you know, because we pass through, no, I don't want anything inside of the mouth, and suddenly there is a chewy tube that can have maybe some texture or some color or sometimes even the smell or whatever that is going on inside of the mouth. Then how I proceed with the feeding, it's a little bit different because every child is independent, you know. I cannot be really covering at least this today. If you are interested, we can do it in another time. Definitely, I always suggest you to write me, you know, to send me your questions, and I can see how best I can address these topics on every Wednesday. Now, I would like to answer the question before. I would like, if it's possible, you told me that transition from the baby bottle to another water bottle. So, I will say, in my experience, we have different ways. The most important thing is that to see how the child is drinking. Okay, so I know that it's very important. How to say? It's very difficult to remove the baby bottle. I don't know what is the age of the child. So obviously this is something that you need to transition slowly. It's not something that you want to do it from one day to another. What I suggest is that you don't go crazy buying 100 bottles, because this is the same example that happens with chewy tubes. I will suggest to go for something that maybe looks very similar to the baby bottle, with the same kind of maybe nipple, or you know, like the part around the upper part, that it looks very similar. 8 years old, so it's the same child who had difficulties with the chewing and difficulties with baby bottle and water bottle. Wow. Okay, so so I will still suggest you the same. I will suggest you the same because that's mean that his need of using the baby bottle is quite big. Yeah, I will suggest to check how the shape of the baby bottle that you are having, and maybe get a bottle that it's imitating the shape of the baby bottle, and see if somehow you could get him to drink from there. Otherwise, maybe you could try to introduce the straw and try to trick a little bit around. I don't know if that's a possibility. Does he drink from a straw? Yes, I'm just answering here on Instagram, guys. So Anna is saying that he prefers more to chew sorry, on clothes rather on different chewy tubes, chewy items. Yes, of course. This is what I'm saying. Like, most of the time you will have children who will be chewing on items like the clothes, especially if there is like the upper part of the top, or sometimes even the sleeves, anything. If there is now with the scarf, it's even difficult, because of the weather, so that's another thing. Or toys around, whatever you find. This is totally typical. So for me, that's what I'm saying. When he is able to chew on items that are not chewable, the chewing skills are there. Okay, the only thing, it could be the preference, which I totally understand. But when you are introducing chewy tubes, and this is my professional advice, when you are introducing chewy tubes, you are not looking for how to satisfy his needs right now, if he would like it or not. It's a must. So oral motor skills, oral motor exercises are exercises. I take it, and I would like that everyone who is watching it and would like to apply some of these advices or suggestions, you take it as a tool that it's extremely important to do. So it's not a preference. Let me try to see if you would like to have the chewy tube. No, we have to use the chewy tube. And sometimes it will take us a little bit of time till the kid will get used to the chewy tube. But in my opinion and my professional experience, I always manage to have the child doing the chewy tube, or having development of the chewing skills, blowing skills, drinking from a straw, etc., etc. Because it's not an option that I am considering. Maybe he doesn't prefer, he doesn't like it, or maybe today, no. It is a skill that we need to develop. It's the same when we are having a child who prefers to do, instead of crawling, coordinated crawling, we are doing like hopping, like with the bunny, like the bunny. So yes, it is a preference for sure. Somehow the nervous system is saying that this is the way how I would like to crawl, or this is more comfortable for me because of other maybe need. But my job as occupational therapist is still to work on the coordination and to make sure that you have a good pattern of crawling. Independently, what are your preferences, right? So this is the same. Independently that he doesn't like and that he will prefer to chew on other items, that's not something that you are looking for, at least during the sessions. So with the baby bottle, I would have to see maybe the baby bottle. If he doesn't drink from a straw, I would definitely then suggest to work on the straw, because the water bottles, most of them, they have, if it's the one without the straw, you have adaptable cups that basically it's basically a cup that has like a protection, so when you drink from the cup, the water doesn't come all the way. So for example, that could be a transition that I will maybe look for, from baby bottle to a cup like this, instead of for a water bottle, because the water bottle, or you have water bottles with straw, which obviously if he doesn't drink from a straw, it's complicated, or otherwise maybe when he is trying to drink from the bottle, if he tries, or you're working on it, the water comes all the way because the hole is maybe too big or whatever. So yeah, I will definitely reinforce drinking from a straw, seeing how he tolerates the straw inside of the mouth. But obviously if he's having difficulty with chewing, I can imagine this is an issue. Exactly, sippy cups you can try. The sippy cups are actually the next thing that I wanted to tell you. It was the sippy cups, because they are easier to use or install, so you could definitely try it out. But my suggestion will be, definitely try the sippy cups, but also see if there is a possibility for you to get him into chewing, to get him into tolerating the chewy tube, and start introducing straws, because maybe we can get him to drink from a straw. But sippy cups could be a good step forward. It all depends on the baby bottle that he is using and the nipple of the baby bottle. Okay, so thank you. I'm going to be stopping here. I'm going to finish today's session. That was very nice chatting. Thank you very much for those who were connected and for those who were asking questions and writing me, etc. I will be next Wednesday connecting at the same time around 7:30 p.m. So yes, if there is anything that you would like me to cover for next session, please let me know. That's the reason of this little project of Chat with Lisa, is that I connect every Wednesday to talk to you and to answer your questions and share some of these amazing experiences that I'm having as an occupational therapist. And obviously the idea is also to help as much as possible to those who don't have maybe the possibility to go for therapy sessions or don't know what is occupational therapy. So yes, that's fantastic. Okay, thank you very much. I will be seeing you next Wednesday, hopefully. And in the meantime, take care and don't get sick. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.